We are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Angela O'Hare, your favorite Las Vegas realtor.
And I'm Rob Howell, Las Vegas realtor.
Yes, you got to do your little slogan. How's your slogan go?
I'm all about houses and you.
Yes. It was funny. I was watching you know how Facebook always shows the past videos or whatever, and there's one from 2 years ago that we did.
Okay.
And of course, we're talking about that's when a lot of the doomers were coming into play, especially that one here in Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
So it was an interesting market update. Just kind of fun to rewatch something that we had created 2 years ago.
Yeah. What was the highlight on that, if you could pull one?
The same thing that we've always been saying about the doomers.
We were just right on.
Exactly. Exactly. And the interesting thing, because it was the January 2022 market update, and they saw, and we're going to talk about it, a median price increase of 10,000 from December, or from December to January.
Okay.
So we always talk about trends, and this is a prime example of trends. And we're going to get into the median price very, very, very soon. But the topic of is, or the title of the video is, what is it? Las Vegas home prices hit record high. And if you remember what I was talking about in last month's market update, I had some really strong predictions of what the median price was going to be for 2025. If it continues the route that we're heading,
we're not far.
We're not far.
We are once again, you know, like last year, again, going back in the past and looking at the trends, and you had called that out and narrowly missed what I at the time thought was definitely a out on a limb prediction.
Right.
But you were nearly 100% right. I mean, you got so close that I'd say it's basically being right, because it was 2,500 off. Was it
2,000 off.
2,000 off. Very, very close. So wouldn't surprise me at all now. I'm not going to doubt you. Especially with only 15 that, well, I should.
Yes.
I won't tell. I don't want to reveal things too early here.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Well, we'll hop into the numbers. I think it's going to be a pretty short market update, meaning that it's going to be under an hour, not like our over an hour market updates.
Okay.
There are some new construction incentives, but that's not as it was in, towards
not
the end
as
of the
much
year.
to talk about. There's
Exactly.
a little, I've seen some come through, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of new construction happening in Summerlin, which we'll talk when we get towards the new construction aspect of it all. So without further ado, let's hop right into the numbers.
Okay. Yeah, we got I think we have a bit of an interesting one that is upon us here.
So
let's dissect.
Now, this is interesting. Last month in January, there were 1,578 single-family homes that closed, which is down 12.9% from December, but up still 6.7% from 2024. So we still had more closings, but we didn't have as many closings as we did in December. Hold on, let me just tell this person I can't talk. So typically January is probably one of the slower type months, in my opinion.
Yeah, leading out of December.
Yes.
It's been, I think in the last few years, it's had a little bit more energy going into the new year than, but still pretty slow. And that would prove by closings. But we are, I mean, some of that's a little bit of hangover from December.
Yes.
Some of these are like 40-day, you know what I mean? They were 40-day closes but yes, you're correct. We don't have, when we always say this, like December, January, opportunity time.
Yes.
Right?
Yep. So without further ado, the median price went from $475,000 in December to $485,000 in January, which is a 2% increase from the prior month and a 9% increase year over year.
Yeah, that
was a shocker.
Unexpected, absolutely wild.
Well, considering we didn't have that many closings.
That is the reason I was going to focus in on that. It's kind of like what happened with condos. If you remember, we had that big jump.
Right.
It's the same shock that I have. Like, whoa, where'd this come from? But I think there's a few. If we really dig down, why did that happen? short. There's some strength there to talk about, but also the limited amount of closings. And you think about what our buyers are looking for out there.
Right.
They're looking for properties that are ready to go. If it's really well, offered out there, you got a nice property
Priced right.
Yeah, you might get, the next highest price still out there.
Right.
Because if you have a limited, resource, a property we're still not seeing a ton on the market. If you have a property in Summerlin but all the bells and whistles, it's going to still attract a high price. And I think that with that lower amount of closings, that's what you're seeing. You're seeing still the strong homes are selling with strength.
Yes. Yeah. And the ones that need work are staying on the market longer, plus they're overpriced to begin with, in my opinion.
100%. Sometimes they're trying to price them like they're the strong home.
Yes.
Right? That's a bad idea.
Yeah. Now, this is an advice that we have for sellers. If you're thinking about selling, which is now the time to start listing your home.
Yeah, get on it.
Your home needs to stand out above and beyond everyone else. It needs to be move-in ready. If there's little things and projects you need to do, I start suggesting working on it now, because people want move-in ready. They want it freshly painted. If you have multicolored rooms, paint it. If you have carpet and has stains, carpet replacement, you get more return on your investment on doing at least those two things than you do anything else.
For sure. It might seem like it's a problem in your life to have to do these. It's inconvenient, but the convenience is the money on the other side.
Right.
And a smooth sale.
And faster closing.
Yeah. And I can tell you that, we were just talking about, we do have some listings for various reasons. Mine is a little bit more on the one, what we're talking directly about.
Right.
The property was not in super condition. It's in a great area, but people were really leaning towards the ones that were a little bit better.
Right.
I finally getting it sold, but had the seller done a little bit more of my suggestions, I really feel like we would have been long sold, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I know people think it's a pain in the butt to put your house on the market and get ready for showings, because you have to have it show ready all the friggin' time. Declutter, depersonalize, clean it spick and span,
light it up.
Yeah, light it up. Every time you have a showing, make sure you turn on all the lights for the agents ahead of time. So that way, some agents don't even bother turning on the lights. It makes your house look dark.
Yeah.
You just always, the best advice we can have for sellers, right?
Yeah, you want to make it the best experience for that buyer. They come in. A lot of times we can make them fall in love a little bit online with some good pictures, but the in-person will reveal whatever we're not showing in those pictures, right?
Exactly.
So
curb appeal.
Curb appeal, yes, of course.
Because if your outside exterior doesn't look pretty, they're not going to want to go inside, because that's showing them or telling them that you don't maintain the inside either.
Yeah, it's definitely a reflection. And people, they definitely want to see that. And so going back to what I think is sold is a lot of the properties that have sold were in the upper end of the condition spectrum.
Mm-hmm. So with that said, I always like to go over the history of the median price to show where we are compared to the previous years. In January of 2024, the median price was $445,000, meaning we've had a $40,000 increase in median price year over year. That's huge.
Yeah, that's
and I was saying in the previous market update we did 2 years ago, from December to January, there was a $10,000 median price. So that was like the trend. So now I got to remember when we do market update next year to to remember. Anyway, and January of 2023, the median price was $425,000. And in January of 2022, the median price was $435,000. And in January of 2021, the median price was $345,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge.
Yeah, those are just up and away. I do recall last year being a very strong out of December into January year. There was like this surge going on. If you had a listing, it was getting a lot of activity. I think I'm seeing that, considering the volume. I'm seeing that now too.
We're going to talk about the number of listings that happened for last month, which was a lot.
Yeah. So,
but I got an idea why, and we'll go into it.
Yeah, let's talk about what it means. I mean, that's what I think I'd want to know if I was you out there. Yeah.
Right. And make sure you guys comment. We love when you guys comment.
Yeah. If we're missing something you want to hear an answer to, or just want to know something about the Vegas area, whatever you got.
So for median price in condos and townhomes, it was 293. It went from 290 to 293, so it had a $3,000 increase in median price, which is 1% up from the prior month and up 6.5% from the prior year. So they saw a little increase, but they've had a slow. I mean, they had that huge 315 hike, but after that, it's been just considerably just like baby steps.
Yeah, but back on track.
Back on track, exactly.
It pulled down, like I don't know, that was such an anomaly to have that thing jump so much. And
yeah, that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, and then it pulled back down, and then now we're seeing, just incremental steps of what it's actually on par. I think there was 6% or in change year over year for single family as well. So I think it was on par, if I'm correct.
9.
So okay, so close, but it's it's closer to the numbers,
right? So for median price in condos in January 2024, it was at 275,000. For 2023, January was 255,000. For January 2022, it was 243, and then in January of 2021, it was 193,000.
Yeah.
So it's seen 100,000 in the last 4 years increase in median price, but for year over year, it's only been an $18,000 increase in median price.
Yeah, which is still not bad. And I think some of what we're seeing when we see that big jump and then that pullback is that some of those sellers at that November, December, January timeframe got, they had to come into Jesus and
yes,
and they sold their properties at the right price to get them sold.
Yeah,
good for you if you did that.
So then we're going to get into the luxury market, and luxury saw a decline. There was 106 homes that were over $1 million compared to December's 147, which was a 41 home decrease. However, the median price in the luxury market increased to $1,425,000, and in December that number was at $1.35 million. So it was a $75,000 increase in median price.
And as I always like to point out, when we see that, that medium increase, it's really easy with lower numbers to have that increase, that fluctuation. Right. And that would go to the statement that we made about the single family doing a similar sort of jump of $10,000, Right. Because you have less numbers. So sometimes when there's more, those strong properties sell, they push up the number a little bit.
Now, the question is nowadays, is $1 million luxury? I've had a client ask me that.
I mean, this is what my answer to this is real simple. Not a lot of people have $1 million or even can get $1 million loan. So in that way, it is a luxury for a large percentage of the population. True.
I mean, that is true. I remember back in the 80s when my aunt had a $500,000 house on the water in Florida, and we thought she was like super rich.
That's banging. Yeah.
And now 500,000 is like, what the
That's
freak
regular.
Is that? That's normal. That's almost our median price, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy how much things have gotten expensive over the years, right?
Yeah. So in technical terms, luxury is not really being met at $1 million in every way.
Right.
But by just, is it a luxury for people to be able to afford it? I think it's being met for sure.
Right. I mean, to me, middle class now is you have to have that $1 million. It's just kind of how the market has shifted with the income and everything that, I don't know. That's what
it's getting close to that. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like you've got the middle class has to be much stronger.
Yeah. The middle class is now the lower class.
Or that.
Yes.
Which is not exciting news to bring.
It's not. And just on a side note, and I'm not political in any way. But what are your thoughts on the Gulf of America?
That's what you chose out of everything that's been going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because I lived on the Gulf of Mexico. I lived in Florida on the Panhandle. And I think it's kind of silly to change that name that we've known it. So what if it's called the Gulf of Mexico? I think it's Like
Yeah.
a little ridiculous to be changing the name, in my opinion.
I mean, it's not one I saw on the bingo card, that's for sure. But you know what's kind of why I react to why you even bring it up is because there has been so much that people are kind of have their hair on fire about.
Yes.
That is such a back burner
I
now.
know.
Like nobody cares. All right, fine. It's Gulf America. We're worried about this.
Yeah. I mean, I don't pay attention to anything I really don't pay attention
Good
to
for
anything
you.
that he's doing.
You might live longer.
Yeah.
because of it.
I don't stress myself out over it. I just see little posts and, Damien's mentioned about it. And I thought it was kind of interesting to be changing the name. And I just found it kind of crazy too. Just like when COVID happened, and not that I'm prejudiced in any way, but during the whole Black Lives Matters, where they were changing the names for a lot of things that we've known for hundreds of years as one thing, like when they changed the airport name from McCarran to Harry Reid, or when they've changed statues or football teams. You know what I mean? You're Washington.
I'm a Washington fan.
Yeah. I just think it was silly to go that far, because most people don't see it. Like kids nowadays, or this generation, don't know the history behind it because it happened for so many years ago. They just know it as a monument or as a name, and don't know the details behind it.
Yeah, I mean, people can definitely get in a lot of arguments over that, like what it means and why they're doing it. And, there's certain people that just want to, but something that I would point out, which not to get too far into this, but one thing that I think is a little bit of a metric of where we are and for what our people who are in charge, our leaders, can take control of and change. Well, doing something like name changing and statue changing or whatever, is on the spectrum of things a lot easier to just go out and get done and say, hey, I did this for everybody, than maybe some of our tougher problems. And I'm not reducing what people might think about some of those things, because I actually think in the pile of things, there are things that were like, yeah, that's not necessary in our society. But in the pile of things, there were also things that are like, For example, I don't think it's a good idea to take somebody's name off of something, a person's name off of the airport, and then put another person's name on the airport, because now you're just opening up the opportunity. Well, what happens when we find out about something about that guy, right?
Yeah, what's the lesser evil? I heard Harry Reid's not as innocent as everyone thinks he is, right?
I don't know, and I'm just waiting for the day that people decide that, right?
They should just call it Las Vegas International Airport. Don't name it to anybody else, and end of story.
Unfortunately, we are to the point where we need to make it not about a cultural or people.
Right.
We just shouldn't do that. We should avoid that, because I just think that it's a reason to go, well, I don't know.
Yeah, 50 years from now, they may change it to something else.
I would put money on it.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah. Anyway, folks, sorry to be political. Yeah. Let's talk about the numbers.
Well, maybe we'll get some comments on that. Yeah. Come on. What you got, folks?
Oh, we got some comments. Hi, Steven. Do you think people from Los Angeles will start moving to Las Vegas?
Ooh, that's a real easy answer.
I mean, yes. But, I think these people were very terrible about what happened to them, but I'm sure they have to deal with a lot of issues before they can even make the move with their homeowners insurance, right? And getting things settled with their houses.
There's definitely some details and dynamics that are going to have to happen. They're going to have to sort some things. But I think just from a temporary basis,
yes,
some of these people are going to be on a long hike to get their homes rebuilt. It's not happening, especially with some of the red tape in California.
Right.
It's not happening overnight. So they may just temporarily come to live here, even just buying or renting a property. So I think by nature, that just says, hello, welcome to Las Vegas.
Yeah. And if it's not now, it will be for the future.
Yeah. So like you're saying, I think it's almost like a balloon that's going to get let out slowly and then re-let out slowly, as maybe people say, I'm only here temporarily, and go back.
I think, though, what will happen with the studios, once they pass the legislative for doing the Sony incentives for the film studios, not just Sony, but Warner Brothers. And I think there's going to be another company coming out here with the fires in California that's going to push that even more to happen sooner rather than later. And with all these jobs being created and these people coming here, I think it's going to majorly boost the real estate market.
The timing is ripe The timing is right. I hate to say it like this, this tragedy ends up and being lending itself to some Vegas stuff, but that's what's going to happen.
And the monorail is supposed to be what, 2027?
Yeah. So that's another one where I guess it didn't affect a lot of the people that would be direct stops off that monorail, but still, that was huge regardless of what's happening.
Yeah, because people can live here in Vegas and then go work in California and just take the monorail, or vice versa, but more likely it's the opposite, the first one I said.
Yeah, I think that, if you're talking about maybe the average money that you can make doing the same job is a little higher there.
Right.
And then coming and taking part of our tax advantages and so on and so forth.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
How much as a percentage can you get more for a one-story house right now?
Who has a percentage? Let's see.
I mean, single-story homes are typically higher in price and more in value than a two-story home, but percentage-wise, I can't answer that question.
Yeah, I'm trying to run that through my mind. It could be as high as 15 to 20%.
But it's also depending on area.
Yeah,
too.
it's very. I mean, I would throw just a general number out there of like maybe 15 to 20%. It could be as high as that. Certainly 10%. I would say. If you got a neighbor, same size 2-story
versus a
single story, the single story is going to sell for more for sure. So, yeah, it can be dramatically different. Especially like you start getting into the luxury market, right? Something that is single story with the same
square footage, everything else,
bedrooms, and it's got a pool. All right, so the single 2-story might sell for $1 million. The single story might be 1.6, right?
Yeah,
it might be that drastically different, which is more than 20%.
Yeah,
so,
it just depends on the area, but that's a good question.
Yeah.
So now this is the interesting factor, and I know why it happened. Let's get to the right screen. We had 3,130 new listings on the market for the month of January, which is up 78.4% from the prior month and up 28.7% from the prior year.
Dropped a bomb on me.
So
70 what?
I have an opinion. What is your opinion on why we had so many listings?
I think I would be a broken record just to.
Yeah, I mean, I think one, the first of the year happened, 2, the fires happened, and people were thinking they're going to take advantage of the Californians relocating here and maybe putting their house on the market sooner rather than later, and 3, after the election when Trump became president.
Yeah, I think that third one is probably moves to second for me.
Yeah, but this is the highest because we had, I always like to look at did I write it down? No, I didn't. We didn't have nearly that much new listings in January last year as we do now.
They were really getting sucked up last year.
Yeah. But over
the sellers weren't
3,000
ready.
new listings at a 78% increase. That's friggin' huge. So that will explain why we had an increase in inventory and why, I mean, I don't know why the sales didn't happen though, because we had that will reflect February numbers.
Yeah, I think that the buyers come out a little bit later than maybe the sellers would be.
Right, but even though we had the new listings in January, it's a 30-day closing, so that's going to reflect in our next market update.
For sure. I think there are for sure maybe at least equal, maybe more amounts of, I would think, actually, no, not think. I know there will be more buyers looking to buy than the sellers. We will get back to where
if we follow the trends,
at least for the springtime.
Right.
I think that we're gonna. I had a little prediction on my last video, which was that we will peak over 8,000. That's total. We're talking 5,000 is just for single family, but total on market over 8,000, and then we will get sucked back down. Right. And I don't know where that'll go back down to, but for sellers, if you see less inventory, that's a good thing for you.
But it could be that I'll play the devil's advocate because of what's happening in California. We may see more listings than normal this time of year. Plus, we've already had 3 years by June of this year will mark 3 years that we've had the high interest rates.
Yeah, people are sort of getting settled into those. They're not going anywhere, folks. Anywhere, folks. That's.
Well, now they're just like, I mean, they're kind of tired of waiting to sell their home.
I got several buyers that are like, it's like I've been counseling them for a couple of years.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, I don't think you can wait on this. If you're gonna wait, it's a long term. I don't know where that's at.
Yeah.
I don't know where that ends at. So
yeah. And plus, they say that because Trump doing these tariffs overseas, that it could impact our housing market more so probably the new construction, especially the builders like Shawwood, Arcadia, where their thing is the materials are from Japan, I think.
Okay.
I do believe. I don't know exactly.
That would make sense because they're, yeah.
Yeah, it could affect like appliances.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Certainly things from China right now, I think they're on a 10%, plus right now.
Right. And to me, why tariff Canada? They're our neighbors.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, Mexico's our neighbors too. I mean, seriously, I think the tariffs are kind of stupid, but I'm not political, so I don't know the reasoning behind it all.
I will catch you up very, very quickly.
Okay.
So far, that was a threat because what the president did was say, I'm going to do this and it's effective. And then those two countries said, but wait a minute, let's talk about that. Right. And then apparently he got what he wanted from both of those countries, has 30-day delayed it.
Right.
And I think it's all a negotiation tactic. That's my personal opinion that
you're strong arming them.
I'm not saying he wouldn't have put them on there.
Right.
But I think that he's saying, you see how he's moving and shaking?
Yes.
He doesn't want to go to the speed of government. He doesn't want to go to the speed of Canada's government to make up their mind to do something, or Mexico's He's like, let's get it done. I have a hammer. I'm going to use it.
Right.
Like it or not, that's what I see. And the only reason why I can say it with any positive emphasis right now is because it didn't happen, at least right now.
Right.
So that's good.
So last month for listings sold or didn't sell within the last 30 days, we had 5,215 single family homes that hadn't sold, which is up 5% from last month, which we saw a nice dip last month. And now we saw it go back up slightly. Because of the new listings.
Yep.
That's why. And we didn't have enough sales. So that's why the amount of inventory is hanging around there, which is up 46.9% from the prior year, meaning we had more listings not sold in January of 2025 versus January of 2024.
Yeah, I wonder if we went back into 4 years ago when the last election happened, if you didn't see that same trend happen where people were waiting and not doing things in, those.
Yeah, but that was different times though. That was right after COVID, and 2021 was just like a phenomenal.
Yeah, but it kind of, well, yeah, you're right. They wouldn't have stuck their homes on the market. So I guess that COVID throws those things all out of whack.
Yes.
But I just wonder if we were on, take COVID out of it, if we could look back and we would see every election that there's this little delay on people. They're just waiting for that to come through and then they start dropping their
I'll have to look at it.
Yeah.
And analyze that. So with that said, this time last year, there was 3,551 single family homes listed without offers. Mm-hmm. And in January 2023, we're at 5,450. So in 2023, we're a little over because, again, that was when we had the high interest rates that were starting, right, in 2022. And then in 2024, it started to, 2023 was like our worst year in a while. And then 2024 has started to become a very good year.
Yeah. Yeah. I think across the country, there's been a little bit more inventory happening.
Yes.
So,
and it could be because of waiting to see who became president.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think ours is because of California.
Yeah, that's certainly a part of it. I think also we are now beyond, we're getting years beyond COVID and the things that were causing people to stay in place. And there's just a little bit more moving and shaking. People are more willing to sell right now and move other places and do some things.
Exactly.
Not by a lot, but a little, and a little makes difference.
Yeah.
Right. Because we were so anemic for so long.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were. And then months of supply. We are now at 3.3 months of supply. I think last month we were at 2.7. So we did see an increase because, of course, again, we had new listings, not enough sales, increasing the inventory, which is up 20.7% from the prior month and up 37.6% from the prior year. So what I wrote down let's see. In 2024, we were at 2.4 months of inventory. And then in January of 2023, we're at 4.1. So we're in the between the 23 and 24
Makes sense. Yeah.
number of homes.
Yeah. I think that that's what I'm going to say. I think if you're a buyer right now, you're seeing more inventory, you should really try to get a little bit more aggressive and make it happen now. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Because I think what's coming next is going to be a little pullback of that inventory as more buyers enter in. Maybe you're one of them, but if you're part of the pullback and not when it gets completely pulled back, when you've already, when your inventory is already getting too low and the sellers are back more in charge.
Yes.
I
mean, technically it's still, in my opinion, a buyer's market.
Okay.
When we discuss this every time, in the past, it used to be 6 months. It was a buyer's market, and under 6 months, it was a seller's market. But you as a buyer still have a little more control, unless it's one of those homes that everybody wants. It's highly updated in a desirable area, move-in ready, then you're going to have some competition. But homes that have been sitting over 30 days, you as a buyer can get some really great deals. You can get a lower price. You can ask for closing costs, all that good stuff that you could still get right now.
Yeah. I'm not sure how much of that continues once we have a little less inventory, maybe a little bit.
Right.
But anyway, I always just like to point out the best time for somebody to do something. It's getting ready. It's basically it's actually kind of right in the middle, about to be right, where it's like still good to sell a home, but also you have a good opportunity to get in and buy the right home for yourself.
Well, I mean, in all honesty, I think that the prices will continue to go up. We do, and we've talked about this years ago about being landlocked. We have a land issue problem, right? And once Vegas is completely built out, the prices are going to just go through the roof even more, in my opinion, because we're not going to have the new inventory. We're at over 2 million. I think by the end of 2030, they planned that we were almost going to be at 3 million population.
Okay. Not a surprise.
Yeah. I mean, we're very growing. I think they say 157 people move here every day.
Yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, we're just continuously growing. And we're going to be landlocked soon. And so those desirable areas are going to be even more money.
Yeah. Yeah. My mom's been saying it for a long, long time. She moved out here with me in her belly in 76. And then she saw what happened in places. I mean, these places you think, okay, well, San Francisco's got the bay and got beautiful things. But what happened is they lost land. They didn't have any more land to build on, had to build up. Everything goes up. It still would hold true even if you don't have the beautiful sea to look at, here, that once we don't have any land, if it's still a desirable place to be like it's going to be, yeah, we're only going up.
A lot of builders started doing townhomes that they had never done in the past.
Yeah.
So that's the sign of times changing.
Yeah.
Like Toll Brothers, Pulte, that Monument is their first townhome community. Taylor Morrison at Lark Hill. I mean, you're going to start seeing a lot of multifamily houses.
Yeah, and you notice they're trying to find more ways to put more square footage into a property. Like even with Toll Brothers having basements,
Yes.
Like we never see that. So first it starts with let's just go up a little bit.
Yes.
Give 3-story homes. Now they're going to drop basements in.
I went to a Toll Brothers frame walkthrough today, and I talked to one of the sales reps, and she said that 2 of the models will have the basements to show you at Glen Rock.
Awesome.
So I was like super excited to.
Those will be finished basements.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And it's going to be interesting. She said the ones that are so with that Glen Rock, you have like 3 different floor plans. You have the single story, then you have the single story elite, which is like a pop out like they did at Shadow Point and Arcadia Ridge. And then you have the terrace, which has the basement. So when you see those names out of the 3 of one floor plan, but it has the 3 different names, that means one is the pop-up 2-story, the one is with the basement. And when they say terrace, it's a basement.
I got it.
So yeah, it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, they're just trying to give you whether they go up or go down. They're trying to give you more
exactly
in the same patch of ground, right?
And I know we're not talking about new construction, but they anticipate starting those prices in the 2 millions.
Yep. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's not terribly shocking to me. Like that's where we've been headed.
Yes. And once we
Up
get to
there?
new construction, I want to talk to you about a new community, but we're almost there.
Okay.
Now we're going to get to the last market update is 47% of closings was on the market 30 days or less. 50.1% was on the market 30 days or less in December. And then last year, January, this time, 52.5% of the homes were on the market, 52.5% or less. So what that means is homes aren't selling fast. Normally, when it's a good, strong selling season, you're going to see it in the 80s, 90s, but only less than 50% of the homes that hit the market are on the market under 30 days, which is not good. Because ideally, if you have it priced right, it's a great house, your goal is to always sell it that first week, if not the first 2 weeks that the home is on the market. That's the most important, crucial time that listing is live.
Yeah, that's when you're going to have that buyer that's been out there waiting for your property to show up.
Exactly.
Right? And they're the ones that like sitting there like a trap. I want it, you know? So you want to attract them and get them into the deal and get the most out of it, because that's usually they're going to be the ones they're in the progression of a buyer. They are advanced. Right. They know what they want when they see it, and they're going to grab it and give you what you need. And
then once we hit into the spring selling season, mark our words, that number is going to go up.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's a really good metric to watch right now is days on market days on market, not days on market. What's it? Listings without offers.
No, it's time on market, days on market.
Okay. 40%. Yeah. So that time on market really will tell us like what's happening.
How fast the homes are selling.
Yeah. If you see that continuing to go anywhere lower right now in a springtime,
that's bad.
That would be a signal. Okay. That we really have a big market change. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's happening, at least not in the springtime, but that's something we'll definitely pay attention to.
Yeah. As I had said at the end of, was it last month or the December market update, I had strong predictions that we are going to hit over 500,000 in median price for 2025. I still feel that way.
Yeah.
Based on the trends of seeing a $25,000 and $35,000 median price increase year over year for the last 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
So when we ended the year in December, we had it was at 475,000. So if we do that 30,000 increase, that's going to put us over that $500,000 median price. So with that said, because we had that 10,000 median price increase last month, I think we're heading in that track again. My prediction is going to come into fruition.
Yeah, and if the bond market plays ball and we see lower interest rates just from the way the bond market works, not from the Fed lowering it, but from the bond market, then you're even more going to be because you're going to see people have a little bit more flexibility and are able to.
I just don't think those interest rates will ever go down.
Well, they can fluctuate a little bit.
Yeah, but they've been almost 7%, pretty much up and down, right?
I think there's a strong chance that the bond market does a little number on it and drops it below back into the sixes.
Okay,
and that would be helpful for anybody buying.
I mean, if they made it average 5%, I think that would be so much better. But in 3 years, as we said last market update, it hasn't. I mean, there really hasn't been any changes to it.
Yeah, I mean, if I was to just track everything from what's happened, going back to when we had low rates, they delayed too long to make rates higher.
Right.
And so that was a bit of a problem that then continued that expression. Now they're going to be extra careful about dropping rates anymore.
Yeah.
So
we're very
stuck.
Conservative.
We're stuck a little bit, but we can maybe hope for the bond market to give us some better interest rates out there. I actually we'll talk about. We'll see. We'll make sure.
Yeah.
Talk about.
Do you think Trump will have anything to do with it? Will he try to help with the rates?
So what I'm going to say is that I actually hope not, because the president's really not supposed to be the guy saying. Now he can put pressure, But I think that's going back to when we had low rates and we didn't make them higher. There was pressure from that administration not to make them higher because they wanted to keep that nice economy going.
Right.
I don't like that. That's plenty. Stop that.
Then why do people think that the housing market's better? Because the Trump is in.
I think because he's a real estate guy, and I think that there will be his pressures that he does put on things will be to try to help the real estate market.
Right.
With everything, with the whirlwind of what's going on, I haven't seen anything really that's significant that we can talk about just yet that would lend itself to that, other than he's tried to put the pressure on there and they said no. They said, no, we're not doing that. We're sticking to our plan. And I think that's the wise thing to do, because if you start pulling it down now you're potentially it has such a bigger pie that bigger picture that it's working with when you change interest rates. It's not just housing, right? So yeah, you got to be careful.
Whew, okay, well, that's the numbers.
Yeah.
If you have any questions about that, let us know in the comments. And now we're going to talk about new construction. Real quick, there's a new community, probably not till next year, it's going to be called Sky Summit. I'm sure a lot of you saw it in the RJ. So basically where Sky Summit's going to be located, and I've talked about it briefly last year, it's going to be west of Sky Hills. So you have Providence, Sky Hills, Sky Summit. It's from the same developers, Olympia companies that develop Sky Canyon.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, and
it's just above Sky Canyon then, right?
Yeah, technically, kind of
goes around.
It's parallel. It's right above Sky Hills. So
okay,
it's kind of, like I said, Providence, Sky Hills, and then Sky Summit.
On that whole backside.
Yes, on that whole backside by the mountain.
The ridge there, yeah.
Yeah, and they're supposed to have some parks and stuff. So I was part of a group by Pulte Homes, like a realtor group, to get our insights on what we think the floor plans that they're going to offer. They anticipate, I don't know if I should be talking about it, but they anticipate to have over 500 home community in there. Okay. It's going to be guard gated. They're going to have two-story collections and 2 single-story collections, I think. The houses to me look like a little to me, American West Pulte Homes.
Okay.
The layouts.
Really? Oh.
And they were trying to get our opinion on what we thought the prices should be.
So big.
So big, like 3,900 square foot, and then 2,200 and 2,700 square foot single stories. And their anticipation was out of whack. I'm like, you got to see what's next to it, right? They're trying to compare this to like the Reverence. Because they're going to have the amenities like the Reverence Community Center, the pool, all that good stuff, a golf simulator, tennis courts, pickleball courts. And I said, you can't compare apples to apples. This community is in the Northwest. The houses aren't Summerlin prices, so you can't price them Summerlin.
Yeah.
They were anticipating to try and price them maybe in the $800,000, $900,000 range. Okay. And then after upgrades, they were wanting them in the $1 to $1 million range. I said, look at the community next door, which is Telvona and Valridge Pulte Homes. They didn't go for that much. Mm-hmm. I mean, yes, you're going to have the amenities, but there's no way that those houses in that area should be priced in that price range.
I'll play a little devil's advocate, only because we just talked about it. So if your options are you would want to buy in Summerlin, or you're looking over, hey, here's this other gated community. It's a guard gated community. It's guard gated.
Yeah, it's supposed to be guard gated.
Okay, so it's going to rival them.
Yes,
in a way. It's just not in Summerlin, and you're talking about, well, I got to go to Summerlin and pay what? What do you think for equal property there?
Well, the prices are Summerlin prices.
Are they starting at
It could be. I mean, they're not. They're just getting our input.
I feel like Summerlin has gone higher for the product.
Right. It has.
For that size of a property, 3,900 square feet. So I just feel like their options are going to make them consider
Sky
heavily.
Canyon prices, since it's near Sky Canyon and Sky Hills, are not in that range.
You're right. No, I think by the comparables, you're not. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I know.
But
they can't compare apples to apples, in my opinion. Yeah. They have to compare apples to oranges, because that is not Summerlin, nor will it ever be Summerlin, and they won't have the amenities or the sheer size of Summerlin.
Yeah, and it's only a 500 home community.
Right.
So you're not going to have anywhere near the feel of Summerlin. And so you are correct about what the value is there. I mean, it's different.
But I like the fact that they do plan on, and I wish more master plan communities were like this, because it's kind of like a resemblance of Rhodes Ranch. It's like Sky Canyon, but not guard gated, right? Sky Canyon has those nice, rich amenities. So I think it's an awesome concept, because a lot of people looking for those type of communities.
Yeah. They just need to be affordable enough for people to consider them, because if they are apples to apples, then I think people won't
plus
even
if
bother.
they're American West style homes with the Pulte name, those layouts aren't going to cut it for that price range.
Yeah,
because those homes in the Southwest are like 600, 700,000.
Yeah. It really sounds to me like they're trying to just give you a lower priced option that would rival Summerlin, but it's lower price, but they're not doing the lower. Maybe they're not doing the lower price, which would be a mistake.
Yeah. So enough with that. Some exciting news. Ashland by Taylor Morrison just opened up a couple weekends ago. Those single story homes, have you checked them out yet?
No.
Oh, you need to go check them out. They're friggin' phenomenal. They have 3 floor plans modeled, 7 different single story floor plans to choose from, all with 3-car garages. 3 of them have the next gen suite option, which is great.
Yeah.
And then this weekend, coming up on the 15th at 1 p.m., Arcadia by Shawwood is grand opening.
Wow, that's
which
fast.
I'm super excited about. These are over 3,000 square foot 2-story homes. And so that's going to be a nice, neat product that we haven't seen before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then what else is going to be opening up very soon? The spring, from what I understand, spring of this year, Glen Rock is supposed to open up.
Okay.
I've already seen that they started building the model homes. There's only 1 model home started. So there's a lot of new exciting things coming in Summerlin West. Another new community called Caldwell Park. They're going to have, Inspirada, right? KB Homes in Inspirada.
Yeah.
They have the groves and the landings there. Mm-hmm. Well, they're going to have those 2 products over in Caldwell Park by KB Homes. It's going to be next to Alton, and they're going to have townhomes mixed in with single family homes, about 288 homes.
Okay.
It's going to be a big community.
Yeah. So those will be on the a little bit more affordable side for Summerlin.
Yes, they'll be on the more affordable.
But those were really popular and still are on the resale market in Inspirada. So not surprised that they're taking a similar product.
Yeah. I mean, as Rob was saying, look, the direction of buying new construction in Summerlin. You have the Taylor Morrison Ashland. The cheapest one was like $1.2 million, and then the higher, bigger square footage ones were $1.4 million.
I was going to ask you where their price.
That's the base price. Yeah. That doesn't include exterior elevation, lot premium, structural options, or upgrades. Mm-hmm. And then I do believe Arcadia is going to probably start in the mid millions as well. So it's kind of crazy where we've come to have Summerlin prices starting in the millions.
Yeah. Yeah, if you missed out on it a year and a half ago when you could get something under $1 million or so, right? You know,
and then
Taylor Morrison was building a similar product, and maybe they were 2 car garage instead of 3. I don't know, but they were starting in the 7s.
Yes, right? And Taylor Morrison will be opening up a 55 plus retirement community next year, starting first quarter. It's going to be about 400 homes. First quarter, they'll start building the models, and by second quarter, they'll open it up to the public. It's going to be around 1,500 to maybe 2,700 square feet retirement community. They're going to have a community center, about 15,000 square foot clubhouse, lots of amenities. I don't know if it's going to be guard gated or not. It's going to be in the La Madre Peaks Village, and it's called Esplanade or something like that. I have it on my website. Okay. So that's
their first.
I've never heard them do a 55.
Yeah, that's got to be their first 55.
So that's exciting, because a lot of people always ask me, are there any new 55 plus communities coming to Summerlin? That one will be opening up early next year. So that's exciting. There's a lot happening in Summerlin, obviously.
Yeah. Gobble, gobble.
I can talk all day long about all the things. I will be posting next week a video called Summerlin New Construction Communities coming soon for 2025. So stay tuned to my YouTube channel to learn all the new communities that will be opening up. But anyway,
awesome.
With that said, let's talk about some builder incentives.
Okay.
It's very few and far between right now.
Yeah. Well, as we say, you want to get these things at the end of the year if you want the best.
Yeah. Century Communities is having their We're Just Built Different event, and get unbelievable savings on select move-in ready homes when you finance with their affiliated lender, Inspire Home Loans. Get 4.875% fixed interest rate when you do a VA or an FHA loan, or 5.875% interest rate on a conventional home loan. And you must go under contract on or before the 12th of this month, which is very soon. But they're always ever changing their incentives, and they always have incentives, and must close by the end of this month. So that's kind of pushing it.
Yeah, you got to come in. Ooh, I don't know. Can you get it? Can you use a loan that quickly? Very unlikely.
Yeah. Pulte has a limited time financing at 5.5% fixed 30-year interest rate on their move-in ready homes. Must go under contract from now and close by April 30th.
A little more time.
Yeah. And then lastly, Taylor Morrison, again, having a limited fixed interest rate of 5.49% on a 30-year fix on their select move-in ready homes. Must go under contract from now until February 28th and close by April 7th.
A little bit of time. You got enough there. It's a
now
home.
The builders, I think, and I said this before, I don't ever see them doing away with these special incentives or special interest rates until our interest rates start going down. So they may stick around for a while until
Yeah, that's how they've been able to move new homes.
Yes. Yeah.
They made a really good decision to start doing those.
Yeah. So now we're going to talk about our bets.
All right.
No questions. Okay.
It was a wild roller coaster.
Yeah. So for the median price, Rob said that we would have a $3,000 decrease. I said $2,000 decrease, and it was a $5,000 or $10,000 increase, which I I guess, won that one.
Yeah, you got it.
I guess technically. Now, without offers, Rob was smart.
I sure didn't get it.
Yeah. Rob said 5,111. I said 4,900, and it was 52.15. So you won that one.
Okay.
And then months of supply, Rob said 2.8. I said 2.7, and it was 3.3. I didn't foresee those listings coming on the market like it did. Over 3,000 listings, 78% over last year.
Yeah, I didn't think it would be that much. I just thought it would be a little bit more than what you were thinking.
Yeah, so that was crazy. So you went first for the median price decrease. I will go first. The median price, I'll go first. And that's going to be a tough one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is tough because, well, I'm not going to, I'll let you. But it's tough.
It's tough. Well, it picked up. Though all those homes that got on the market must sell. I'm going to say, instead of a decrease, I'm going to say $2,000 increase.
Okay. So that you made it tough on me to make a number because I do feel like. So I was going to mention that the condos did this, right? They did a little fake out on us, right?
Yes.
Boom, 315, and then they dropped.
Right. So you're going to say a huge decrease?
I would not go with that same exact thing is going to happen.
Right. The only reason I'm not is because of 2 years ago where we saw that $10,000 increase in median price at the same time. Yeah,
exactly. Yes. So I do think that we're entering a stronger time of year. We're entering where there could be some, the push could continue. Now, will it increase? That's the tough part because you're really talking about in 2 months having more than $10,000 increase. So that's the only reason why I would go with decrease, but I think I'll keep it simple and just go $1,000 increase.
Well, I'm not saying that we will hit over 500,000 by the springtime. It's probably going to be more like July.
July or something in the summer.
Yeah, in the summertime.
That was the trend this last year.
Yes.
It happened later than we would have thought, right? So
because we hit the peak of the market of 482,000 in May of 2022. Folks, we bypassed the peak of the market.
Yeah, at the very beginning of a year, that's not really something. It could be
the anomaly, like you said.
I mean, it could be if you have more numbers in there that start to skew it a little differently, then
Right.
you know, I think you have sellers like mine who did take a little price cut on to get theirs sold. I told you why they did that. They probably didn't make the. I mean, listen, I love this guy, so I don't want to talk any trash about him, but
Right.
I wish he would have done a little different thing. Anyway, he's getting it sold for a good number. It's just not the next highest number.
Right.
Right. So maybe there's a lot of sellers that are just like, hey, I got to get this done now. They're getting impatient. So we don't know that.
Right. They
Right.
could be.
So,
I mean, it's been on the market 4 months. Let's get this thing sold.
yeah, if we see a trend like that, then I don't think we see the median move
price going up.
another over
Right.
10,000, right? Or over what it's already increased. Anyway, that's hard to say. You're up next here.
Oh, I went first for
Oh,
without
you
offers.
did go first.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
my
now
bad.
it's your turn.
Without offers, this gets a little tougher, but I think I would just go a little bit above where I'm at right now and go like 52.25. I don't know why I said 25, but I'll do it.
52.25.
Yeah.
Whoops, that's the wrong place.
I think there's going to be some of that stuff eaten up, but also we're going to continue with
More homes going on the market.
a little bit more. Although that doesn't match with my prediction. So
No, I think everything lines up. I mean, if we only see a little increase, I have a feeling we're going to still see more inventory. I mean, more homes hitting the market, new listings, right?
Mhm.
Now the question is, are they going to get gobbled up with more sales? I don't think February is usually not that month yet. Once we hit March, it usually, we start seeing that.
Mhm.
So with that said, I think, we could still have a lot of inventory on the market. I'm going to I'm just going to go slightly below it.
51. You change your 4.
Yes, 51.50.
Okay, you got to remove your 51.50. It's tough. These aren't easy to call. I think
No.
we're trying to hit a battleship, right?
Yes. Yep. And then so months of supply is at 3.3. I think we have a very little decrease. I think we're going to I'm going to do 3.4.
I'm going to say right at 3.3.
Okay.
I'm
I was
gonna
thinking about staying.
I'm
at
going to go crazy and
3.4.
just say that's because that kind of aligns with my prediction.
Yes.
And if I'm too out of, yeah.
I was going to say 3.32. But
I was hoping you didn't.
yeah.
But maybe I'll wish you did.
Yeah.
Who knows?
All right, folks. Any questions? Now is your time to get it out there.
Yeah.
Yep. I guess not. Everyone's quiet.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's all right.
Yeah. Well, we hit it under an hour, so we want to end it by saying thank you guys so much for watching.
Rock on.
And do it peacefully.
And we'll see you on the next one, folks.
Peace out.
Peace, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Yep.